Assalamu alaikum, everyone. And again, welcome to another night in terms of this blessed month. Thank you for joining us again. And it's an honor to be here every night with you guys. Alhamdulillah, like we've talked before, in terms of discipline, understanding yourself at a greater level. Tonight, I'm going to start a series on really the next 3 nights. It's going to be performance, understanding performance. The next night is going to be tied to this, which is motivation and achievement. And the next night after that is about reaching a stage of flow and what is flow and how to go into the stage where 79% of people who are top performers can actually enter this stage willingly. That's what studies indicate. So how do you get yourself to this maximum potential that you're driving yourself in this vehicle that's like built from just amazement in terms of your achievements? So having said that, that's what we're going to go through in the next 3 nights. And it's going to be something set up I'm going to try to do like mini series within like 2-3 days, maybe 4 days, sometimes 5 days. And what I'm going to do in terms of the end of the month is I'm going to take you through the building of character and the building of, I'm touching on some of these subjects here, and they're connected in similar ways. But at the end, I'm going to try to make about maybe 7, 8, maybe 10 nights. And it's going to be one straight series on that. So everything we've gone through so far is just about building and self-building, getting yourself to another level within your own being. Eventually, what I'm going to do is also take you outside, how to have a conversation when conducting yourself, what is proper communication, how to communicate. I'm going to try to make that in the middle of the month, then I'm going to finish it off with that final series. So hopefully we can keep it going here in terms of taking ourselves every night and just building yourself and at least learn one thing a day. But tonight and yesterday, if you didn't get to see the presentation, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend that you take some time. It's a half hour, maybe 45 minutes, but I recommend you take some time in terms of understanding that one, because that's a very unique presentation. It's taken a lot of time to put together. So if you missed that one yesterday, I advise you to go back and really go into that one. If you haven't watched it all, I would advise like you watch yesterday's presentation. Now, as I promised you guys every night, here's a book that I think you guys should, these are actually CDs, but from here, this is Getting to Yes. It's a great book. And it's like one of my favorite authors is Bruce Patton, and he's got many books, but he was part of the Harvard negotiation project. And these people, what they do in terms of, they put long time into a book, and they give it to you in terms of very, where you can read it like in a day or in a day and a half or maybe 2 days. And it's incredible. You can take that information, and somebody has put maybe 5, 6, 10 years into a book, even more sometimes. So take advantage of reading, take advantage of like downloading that information. And I'm going to try to give you as many books as I can throughout the whole month. So tonight, understanding performance and the secret to maximum potential. So tonight, guys, what I'm going to do is, what is maximum potential? I'm going to take you through that. And why did Allah create us? What did He create us for in terms of these kinds of things? And then from there, I'm going to give you 6 psychological factors that have been proven to, when people have these six categories and they've downloaded this into their system, this is how you outperform everyone else. So these 6 categories have been studied in multiple arenas, and in terms of academics and everything else, and I take you through that. But with that, these 6 categories, if you do them right, you will get yourself to a higher stage in terms of your own performance. So first thing, why did Allah Azza wa Jal create us in terms of these kinds of things? In terms of coming into this world, like a lot of people ask this question, why was I created? And there's verses in the Quran, إِنَّا خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَ وَالْجِنَّ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. We've created man and jinn just but to worship. Okay, that's understood. There's another concept that we need to understand, and it's our love for completion. Al-kamal. Al-insan yuridu al-kamal. You long to perfect yourself. Okay, how? Let me give you a quick example. Number one thing, when I ask you and I tell you A is better than B, and I tell you that and I prove that to you, that A is better than B, and I give you the option to choose A or choose B. Let's say I tell you option A is 100% on an exam, option B is 60%. Any sane human being is going to choose option A. That's a reality. That's a universal law. We're always choosing what's better. We're always in a state of betterment for ourselves. We're always trying to take that to the highest level. Now, you may ask me and say, well, that makes sense, but how about when somebody chooses to like smoke and they know it's hurtful for them, but they're still choosing the evil versus the good. There, what they're choosing is their immediate pleasure. They're saying that that's better for me now because I'm going to taste that pleasure. They're choosing the immediate pleasure versus the long-term pain. That's what they're choosing. But to them, that's their perfection. They feel like that's better for them. That's their choice in terms of their cognition and what is telling them as a narrative, as a cognitive narrative in terms of those aspects. So now, when you look at that, in the Quran, it comes and it says to you, إِنَّا خَلَقْنَا الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. So Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, we have put you in this state. الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ. He's created life or death and life to test you. Which of you is best in deeds? It doesn't say best in money, best in outcomes in terms of these kinds of things, having a wife, children, knowledge in terms of these kinds of things. It has nothing to do with that. He says, أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. Okay, now, what is that أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا? This person, when this Quran is talking about this, it's a spiritual perfection. It's not a worldly perfection. It's not a monetary perfection. It's not a physical aspect. It's a metaphysical perfection. When we understand that now, we have to understand the difference between the two. What is metaphysical perfection? It's the one who can take their desires and they're submissive to their intellect and irada. They have the will to tell the self no. That's how it works. So now from there, Imam Ali alayhi salam gives us a beautiful hadith. And he gives us who we are. And you can measure yourself on this hadith. He says, Allah Azza wa Jal has given the angels intellect with no desire. Watch the battle. Intellect with no desire. Then he's given the animals desire, full desire, instinct, and everything else, okay, with no intellect. Intellect meaning that the one who can like deduce and bring things about. From there, he's given mankind both. Now, listen to this, okay? I want you to think of our society and what's feeding us. Is it feeding us so we take a level and we move and we climb past the angels? Or are we reduced so far that we are beneath the animals? Think of our world now, what it pushes in terms of desire. It's constantly feeding the desire. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ. Do you see the one who's made his desires his Lord? You're going to see what Imam Ali says about this person. And from there, in terms of now what he says and he states, he says, whoever's desires are subservient to his intellect, he's above the angels. And whoever's desires are superior to his intellect, he's beneath the animals. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. The one who's brought it to fruition is successful. His thinking, his mind, okay? He's brought it where he dominates his desire. His intellect has dominated that, and he's got it. He can tell the self no at will. He does not do this, and he actually, remember what we said, the ultimate habit is I have pleasure from resisting the pleasure of the temptation. I actually gain pleasure from that. When I say no, I actually feel pleasure. That's not an easy state to get to. Rasulullah, remember we said, al-ladha fi tark al-ladha, to actually feel pleasure by what? Not giving in to the temptation. And we tell the temptation no, and we actually feel pleasure on the other side. That's incredible. Now, what does Imam Ali alayhi salam say? Let me just explain one more thing before I go to that. And then, وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. ما هو الدس؟ ما هو؟ الدس الخيانة. Meaning, the person who has fooled themselves. He's cheated himself. Think about that. Imagine when somebody cheats you and they con you out of money, or they con you out of a thought process, and they take it and they steal it. It's intellectual property, and they steal it from you. They've conned you. Imagine when you con yourself. When you commit a sin or a mistake, you've conned yourself. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. Who is this person that بِدِسِّ النَّفْس? It's the person whose intellect is beneath his desire. The desire is leading, not his intellect. That will is subservient to the emotional aspect. What I feel, I do. I don't care any consequence, it doesn't matter. I just do. Watch depression when things like that happen. I'm not going to go into that, but now he says whoever is like that, whose intellect is subservient to his desire, he's beneath the animals. This is the way Allah has created us. Now, we have to graduate through life. We have to graduate through challenges, and we have to reach the highest levels of challenges in terms of that graduation through those challenges. Challenges give you tools to take on the next level, as we said before. So when we understand that we're created to perfect ourselves, our perfection is now setting up where we choose we choose A and we don't choose B. We choose what are the best things for us. And the best things for us is what Allah has prescribed. His laws, his regulations. He knows you more than you know yourself. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, you know me more than I know myself. And I know myself more than others know me. So from here, he's given that connection that Allah knows you. I am closer to you than your own jugular vein. Allah's there in terms of that level. Now, when we do that, we are seeking perfection. We are seeking to perfect ourselves. Watch this, how this is innate. Allah has put his logo. See how companies put their logos on certain things? Any product, anything that you do, they put a logo on it. This is our product. You are Allah's product. He's put his logo on your heart. And you know what those things say? Perfection. Seek perfection. Love of goodness. Love of beauty. People think that they're not worshiping Allah. In reality, if you're an atheist, you're still worshiping Allah. Why? Because those things you cannot remove from yourself. An atheist will tell you, I just do for the sake of goodness. That's Allah Azza wa Jal, because he is absolute goodness. Allah's absolute completion. Allah is complete. Allah's absolute beauty. It's already there. We just have pieces of it. We need to perfect it. So now what happens when Allah puts that stamp in your heart? And he says, come to me. I am absolute perfection. If you are seeking perfection, the closer you get to me, the closer you get to your own perfection. That's how it works. And the way you do that is a perfection of spirituality. When you perfect spirituality, how do you get there? Have the mind dominate the desire. That's how it works. And if you can get yourself there, that's the way you get yourself to another level in terms of your own being. Take that into your system, take that in terms of how that works, and move on that. Now, guys, tonight, that's the first presentation in terms of this. Now, I want to give you some more aid, some psychological aids to maximize your potential. If Allah's our potential, okay, and we need to get ourselves to there. Let's say, Inna ila rabbikal muntaha. Surely the goal is to get to Allah, that you're going to meet Allah. Ya ayyuhal insan innaka kadihan ila rabbika kadhan famulaqih. Surely you are going to meet your Lord, and it's a guarantee. If that's the case, you have to be aware of that. It's not just knowing that, okay, I'm going to meet Allah. No, you have to be in constant awareness of that I'm going back to Allah. I'm going to meet him. That's how I have to think. Now, from there, if that's the case, I'm going to give you some psychological aspects of what to do to maximize your potential. If you're having a hard time, listen. If you're having a time where you're going through multiple challenges at once, please listen. If you are going through something you feel like is overbearing, listen. If you're not, if you feel like you're going through some great things, and still listen, maximize your potential, download that knowledge, take it into yourself, and move further. All right, guys, let's move into the presentation. That was the kind of the setup. If we are seeking perfection, I'm going to give you 6 tools to help you better yourself and move forward. This is what psychology has come to and done multiple studies across the board. And this is what they found out, the 6 characteristics that how people outperform others. That's the basis of it. I'm going to take you through all 6 categories. Take some good notes, okay? And if you want, send me your notes. I'll be more than happy to grade them for you, okay? Now, from here, let's move. 6 categories of how people outperform other people. These are it right here in terms of what we're going to do. Okay, studies indicate. What do they indicate? People who have these 6 characteristics will outperform others in, watch this, academics. You want to be a person who's just there, you will be able to outperform people in an academic sense. Okay, employment, job, career, okay? Smarts, then the physical aspect of having a job. Okay, sometimes positions are put up and people compete for them. Okay, you want to do that? Learn these 6 skills. From there, opportunities. They see opportunity. When the opportunity comes, they can see it. They look at things and they know the window. Okay, like I had a person I was just talking to not too long ago, and this person, they saw the window. It opened up for a split second, and they looked right through it and they acted. And they didn't even have to really think about things. It just happens. When you're in the right emotional state and you've calmed yourself, like we talked about before, you've calmed yourself. Let's say there's chaos, or you're afraid of something, or if you're afraid of someone's response to you, okay, relax. Get yourself emotionally stable, emotionally regulated, and watch how you will perform. The second someone takes the peace in your mind away from you, and they become a poison in terms of your thoughts. And we said about, mental storms that they create where you can't let go of this person. It's like they occupied your mind. When someone occupies your mind, they occupy your time because they're taking your life away. Every thought you spend, you're losing. Every second is a thought. It's like you have 70, almost around, studies indicate from 50 to 70,000 thoughts per day. Imagine when someone occupies all of them per day, you lose that. You lose your time. Now, let's say it's a great person and this person is giving you information or they're doing great good things. Grab on to those people. Don't let them go. Okay. But what I'm saying to you, see the opportunity when that window opens. And sometimes it's a very small window and you have to react. You have to move. And sometimes it's a bigger window. You need thinking. Okay, in terms of these kinds of things, you become an expert. When you have calmness, you're collected, you're calm with a confidence that's underneath that it's like calmness and silence. And then the confidence that exudes from you is incredible. People feel that. They feel it. You don't even have to say anything. You don't have to open your mouth. They feel it. They understand you because you're going to exude that confidence. They see opportunity. People like that, they see the opportunity. They see the window when it opens. That's how it works. All right, guys, let's go through the 6 categories. All right, 6 components of how to outperform others, the 6 categories in terms of this. All right, number 1, they are problem solvers. Okay, this is where you really should start to take down some notes. Guys, we mentioned nights before that when you are a human being, you are created to also solve problems. Problems start from the second you leave your mother's womb. You have to breathe. Your lungs didn't work before. Now you have to get them to work. Okay, so you have to breathe. You have to get your system. That's why they put you upside down to get that, to get the fluid out of your lungs in terms of what's going on. Then they tap you so you cry. These are problems these are the initial problems you have to solve. And these are made for you where they're automatic. You don't have to do anything. Your system's already programmed. Allah's taking care of that. Then you reach where you have to go to school. Now you have to learn information for the future because you're gonna have to solve more problems down the line. And problems just get bigger and bigger and bigger, as we said. Now, guys, I want to give you a new concept here, and I want you to understand that responsibility is what you're taking on. And responsibility, as we said before, is like the human drug. It's the natural human drug. Almost all positive emotion is goal pursuit emotion. Understand that. That's what studies have indicated. Almost all positive emotion is goal pursuit emotion. So with this, in terms of what we're talking about right here, when you become a problem solver, you will fall in love with responsibility. Responsibility is loaded into challenges. Challenges will come to you every day, like we mentioned, like they're the waves of an ocean. They're constantly coming. So now when you are like that, no matter what the challenge is, and if you're a really good problem solver, you know what happens? You fall in love with life. There's no more depression. You can't wait to get to your next problem. And where everybody hits rock bottom and they feel bad, for you, it's a euphoric aspect. You can actually feel you're down here, you're euphoric. You're up here, you're euphoric, because you have a steady stream of stability within your emotional state. You may go fluctuate up and down, but it's not that much. Some people go like this, they go way up, way down, way up, way down, way up, way down. That's not what you want. You want stability where you maybe have fluctuating, but you're constantly moving up. That's what you want. That's what problem solvers do. Problem solvers, when they're actually going through this situation, they fall in love with the responsibility. That's what happens to them. And now when they get to that and then they solve it and they gain that, that's intellectual pleasure. And now they become addicted to that. You want to become a good problem solver. Then you want to become a great problem solver. You're not just solving problems for you, you're solving problems for as many people as possible. That's more responsibility. And this happens to you when you're younger, by the way, as well. And the way it happens, first of all, clean your room, maintain it. Then maybe go to the other parts of the house, wash the dishes. From there, go to the outside of the house where you do your lawn. Okay, your responsibility is growing. And from there, one day you decide, like, you know what? I'm going to do my neighbor's lawn. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to see if they pay me for it. You go over there and they give you that responsibility. Now you're trading your time for money. You're gaining things on it, but your responsibility is growing. And guys, this is the main concept within problem solvers. Please pay attention. The better you become at problem solving, the more people want to give you opportunity. People hire you. We exchange with others because we want to solve our problems that we don't know. Let's say this computer just goes down. I would want to get someone who has this technical aspect to help me with my problem. That's the way it works. So your expertise in a specific element is really your goal as a human being, because you have to exchange that with other people. So because you can solve problems within that specific domain. So as you grow in your specific domain and you take on more responsibility in life, here's what happens. Responsibility, when you are younger, is a wide road. It's very wide. The more problems you can solve, okay? Let's say you solve this problem, but the next problem you fail, okay? The road stays this wide, but if you succeed, it gets narrower. Then if you succeed again, it gets narrower and narrower and narrower. Now, people would want you at the highest level of decision making, which is loaded with responsibility. There's no time to think. The challenge doesn't give you time to think. And guess what? There's no second chances. So now that decision, it's no longer you're walking on a road, you're walking on razor blades with the responsibility on your shoulders while you are holding that up. Those decisions only belong to the highest people who can solve problems properly. Those challenges are only given to those type of people. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, through him, the religion stayed on course. He was given that opportunity, not anyone else. Why? It's because he's a problem solver. He can solve the religion of Allah Azza wa Jal and maintain it on its correct course, no matter what the sacrifice. That's what you want to get to. And imagine his companions. Imagine the level they reached where there is no second chances. You're going towards where you're standing. You're drawing the line in the sand. You're saying, this is, I'm putting barriers. That's it. I'm drawing boundaries for people. And you can't cross this. And I'm not going to back down. That's incredible to get to that stage. That's the highest level of problem solving. Number 2, mental rehearsal. Okay, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says this. He says, an hour of reflection is better than 70 years of mechanical worship. Why? This is positive reflection. This is someone who's constantly trying to figure out things, okay, where they're at, how they're doing it. Okay, not when they're in a state of chaos and they have fear and what's going on. No, positive rehearsal is thinking. It's that ta'ammul. It's like I'm looking at this and I'm saying, wow, okay, how was this created? How did they do that? And they're constantly figuring out things and they connect the dots with the knowledge. That's incredible. So, and literally mental rehearsal, it's like if you see a diver coming off the high diving board and they jump from high levels, but they practice this in their mind. They do the mental rehearsal. They look at the future. And by the way, listen to what I'm going to say. But they practice their actual dive routine in their mind before they actually do it. And they visualize themselves at a higher level in terms of what they've done. Now, visualization, what you want to do is your mind will take you to your history. Usually that's what your mind does. It will take you to your history and it always wants to hold you back. If you haven't succeeded in life, your mind won't tally up your score of your success and failure when you were unsuccessful and when you have succeeded. And it will tally that up and it will put that in an emotion for you and it will hand it to you. Now, the next time you're about to compete or against a challenge or life or whatever it is, your subconscious mind will come to you and say, what are you doing? You failed last time. Don't do that. Now you become fearful. You don't want to do that again. So this is that component. You have to fight that in terms of now building success. So if you haven't built success in your life, it's okay. You need to start little by little and get those small wins. Start with really small things, but make a decision right now. Okay, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow. I'm going to start a new job. I'm going to get myself where I'm in school. Make a decision. Take one class, one simple class. Okay, but start. I know a person was out of school for a long time. Started with one class. Had a 2.2, I think, in high school, but went back to school a little bit later in their age. Graduated with 3.8. 3. That's incredible. Why? Because taking one class at a time. It's okay. Start with the small things. Then build that little by little. Then your mind will submit to you, your subconscious mind. Wait a minute, you succeeded last time. Go ahead, push. It will actually aid you now. It won't be your what? Enemy, because it's trying to protect you. It's saying to you, listen, all these historic problems you haven't solved yet. What are you doing taking on more? It's literally trying to protect you. It's like, here's what happens when you don't gain success in life. It's like having your anchor in the water and trying to drive the boat forward. You get stuck. Your potential gets stuck if you don't problem solve these things. Now, mental rehearsal in terms of this allows you to do that. Take that time for yourself. Reflect, learn how to be alone. And I'm going to talk later on in terms of how to be alone. That it's one of the things that is very healthy, learning how to be alone, not being lonely when no one's around you. Okay. It's very healthy that you can be by yourself. That means you enjoy yourself in terms of with your own company. You enjoy your own thought process. You're okay with that. So your own company is you. That's a great thing in terms of learning how to do that. Now, mental rehearsal. So let's move to the next one. They avoid comfort. All right, guys, listen, I have a whole class on this. It's a free class on my website. Please, if you haven't taken anything like in terms of this, trust me, that class will change the way you think and explains hope and fear and how they work. And they actually, it pushes you to a whole nother level in terms of decision-making. And it's literally called Understanding Decision-Making. And it talks about your discomfort zone. Literally, your comfort zone is your knowledge into what you know. That's your comfort zone. And it's where you're, let's say if I ask you to say that all the ABCs right now, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you'll say it with no problem. It's also where you have no fear. It's your comfort zone, is your knowledge base, is your comfort zone. Now, the second I tell you to, let's say right now I ask you a question and it's, you're in 3rd grade, okay? And I ask you a question that's like 10th grade level. You're not gonna know, you're not gonna feel comfortable. Or I ask you, okay, what kind of money you wanna make per year? You tell me 50,000. I tell you 500,000. You're like, well, that emotion doesn't sit right with you. It's like, I can't get there. I can't. Be practical, be real. It's that discomfort. That discomfort. Now, where does that sit? Where does that zone sit? If this is your knowledge base, and let's say this is what you know, this green circle here. To avoid comfort, you have to be outside this circle. It literally sits around the circle. That's your discomfort zone. And take the class and you'll see exactly what I'm saying with this and how I explain what mentorship is, what mentors, how they help you set goals, how they help you determine how far you should jump from here all the way out here. Let's say you're trying to get to this goal right here. They tell you, don't take that one shot, be slow as fast. And sometimes, so you need to be patient in terms of trying to climb. Don't climb too fast. And I go through the whole process. Take that class. If you have done so, good for you. If you haven't, I would highly recommend you check it out. Now, they avoid comfort because to grow and to go outside of this, to grow is you're going to have to conquer this area. This area you've already conquered. So when you avoid comfort, you're always standing on the edge of your own personality and you're always pushing this line outward. You're expanding. That's how it works. Now, the next one works right along with this concept, and it's about they take risks. They take risks in life. Sometimes you have to make drastic decisions and massive change in terms of what you need to do. You need to get yourself to a whole nother country, maybe. Maybe you have to make drastic changes. And I'm not telling you to do that without mentorship. Please seek mentorship in terms of these kinds of things. Get somebody who knows more than you, somebody who's wiser than you, somebody who has experienced these things, and let them lead you, give them the ropes, and be wise. I'm not telling you to let go of your own intellect and just let them, no, that's not what I'm saying. But listen to reason, listen to what they can give you, because you're allowing them to shine their light of knowledge and wisdom onto your dark path in which you can't see. And everyone wants to see a road. They don't want to drive in darkness. So, and they also, what they do as mentors is they give you direction and they give you a plan. Take mentorship here. It's a very important thing. Now, they take risks, meaning they're always on this edge right here, and they're pushing. They're not staying comfortable. There's a saying, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's that constant uneasiness, but it's that need that I need to grow. It's achievement motivation. That's what I want. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that tomorrow. and in terms of achievement and motivation, actually. But they're always taking risks to come outside here. They're not always staying in their comfort zone. And we talked about this before in terms of having, and you know what, that's part of the class. I'm not going to give any more there. Just if you have time, take it. All right, so they avoid comfort and they take risks. Number 5, okay, they use different techniques. So let's say now I'm right here. I'm avoiding comfort. So I literally, I'm walking from here and I'm walking to the edge of my personality. Oh, I ran out of information. Now from here, I have to step out into my discomfort zone. I'm here now. Now I have to take risks. Okay, in here I have to take risks, which is the next step. Let's say I jump and I fail, then I retreat. That's one technique. I do it again and I fail. Third technique, I jump and I fail. You know what I'll do? I'll go get a mentor. I'll read a book. Okay, I figured the problem out. I become a problem solver. Now from here, I mentally rehearse. What should I do? Okay, and let's say I fail. I'll take you back through this again. I failed the 3rd time. I say, okay, you know what? I go back and do some mental rehearsal about how to solve the problem. I get a mentor. The mentor advises me. I go back to the edge of my envelope. I take a risk. From there, I use a different technique, which when I mentally rehearsed and I solve the problem by using a mentor. And now I jump from here to here and I solve the problem. Wow. You see how all these work. It's incredible. But it's all connected, guys. Become a problem solver by using these techniques. Now, from here, the last one. So they use different techniques. They don't do the same thing over and over and over again. Einstein has an amazing definition of insanity. And he says, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. You know, when you do a password and you keep putting it in and you keep putting in the same password, the computer is telling you no. Then you're like, this stupid computer. It has nothing to do with the computer. It's an inanimate object. It can't think. It's the one who's programming it. I'm not calling you stupid, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying to you, at the end of the day, think about these things in terms of using different techniques. And if you have a lazy mind, I'm going to tell you how you can create a lazy mind. There's 2 things that happen with people who become mentally lazy. Mentally lazy. Number 1, they just accept the first thing that comes to them. They go with the first thing. That's how they do it. Okay. And number 2 is they present problems and they never present solutions. They're always talking about problems, but they're not a problem solver. You know what they are? A problem presenter. That's all they are. Okay. That if you have those 2 components, you have a lazy mind. Change that. Change these things. Use these techniques to what? Problem solve and get yourself to the next stage. Last thing. All right, guys, this is the last thing I'm going to take you through. And tomorrow, like I told you, we'll go towards achievement and motivation. And that one is a really, really key component as well, just like this is in terms of building yourself to the next level. This one is they have internal goals. Guys, I can't tell you how important this is. When you have internal goals versus external goals, you're no longer trying to appease people. I don't want to get this car because I want to show off. I don't want to get these clothes because I'm self-conceited and I just want to tell people, look how important I am. I don't care. I have internal goals of perfecting myself. I compare my present self to my future reality in terms of the personality I want to build. I have an internal goal towards that. And it's not driven from external factors. And if you study motivation, you'll know the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation and how important that is. Okay, I'm going to talk about that tomorrow in terms of, I'm going to compare high achievers and low achievers. And you're going to be able to see that. And you're going to be able to categorize yourself tomorrow. Am I a high achiever or am I a low achiever? I'm going to give you the scale tomorrow on 6 different categories as well. And you're going to be able to dissect yourself and place yourself in that range. Now, internal goals, and when you're internally driven, what happens? It's very important. And I'll finish off with this story, guys, and I'll show you how internal goals can turn into what? You can be deceived, and then it can turn into internal or external motivation. And this is the way it works. So watch this. There was a study that was done, and this person actually had a greenhouse. And the story goes that this greenhouse, this bunch of kids started playing baseball, and they would hit the ball and break his glass. So instead of telling them and punishing them, okay, why are you doing that? What he decides to do is reward bad behavior. And you got to be careful when Allah starts rewarding bad behavior. There's something in our religion, it's called Sinan Ilahiyya, the way Allah treats us. He has rules in terms of the way he treats us. One of those rules is al-istidraj. Al-istidraj is when Allah starts rewarding bad behavior. So guys, whenever you see someone and you start comparing yourself from your life to their life, and you see, you know what, these guys are doing everything wrong. They're going against Allah, they're doing that, and Allah keeps rewarding them. Why? I'm doing everything right and I don't get anything. Allah, why are you doing that? That's not fair. You get that a lot. Al-istidraj is when Allah starts rewarding bad behavior. That's the worst thing you can do to yourself. Because when Allah leaves, now you've left Allah's mercy. And when Allah starts rewarding bad behavior, you know what's going to happen? You're just going faster and faster and faster to hit a bigger and bigger and bigger wall that you're going to crash. That's what happens. So when you compare yourself, don't just take what's exterior. Take the interior as well. Take the problems that the other person has that you don't see. Don't just look at their money, their relationships, where they seem like on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all these things. Oh my God, we're so happy. Trust me, that could be a facade. It could be just, they're displaying what they want you to see. Okay? Regardless of that. But I'm just saying to you, in terms of these kinds of things, now what happens when we're rewarding bad behavior? This is what happens now when a person does it to a bunch of kids. Watch what he does. He says, every time you come here and you play, I'm going to give you each $1. So what did they do? They got more kids and came back. Now, the person, the next time they came, he gave them another $1 when they played. He figured that the equation in terms of the money aspect and what he would have to spend on the glass versus the money he's giving them. So he was very smart as well. And the next time he says, you know what? I can only give you 50 cents. Then he took it down to a quarter. Then he's like, you know what? I can't afford to give you guys anymore. Then you know what they did? They're like, we're not playing here anymore. So what was something that was very joyful to them and they wanted to do without money, as soon as sometimes we get rewarded by money and a material factor, it becomes harder to do it without it. So an internal motivation can turn into an external motivation just by reward and punishment. I'm just giving you this example so you know what internal goals are. But internal goals can also become what? External. They can flip. So you got to watch your heart there. Whenever you're doing anything, you got to watch your intention and keep your intention pure. I'll see you guys tomorrow and keep us in your prayers, please. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.